The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Queen Creek Fire Department, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36816. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find perimeter lighting on the passenger and driver side front bumper. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find electronic siren PA speakers. Directly in the center, you'll find your unit identifier. Moving over to the driver's side, you'll find dual air horns. As we move up onto the top of the bumper extension, you'll find a tubbed storage location. 2 latches will gain you access into that space. As we move over to the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the cab face, on the outer edge, you'll find a turn indicator marker light. Just inside of that location, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Just up from that location, you'll find a cluster housing forward-facing emergency warning lights. As we move to the grille, behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism to gain access into the hood area. 3 windshield wipers across a seamless one-piece windshield, and then also your mirrors housing a flat and convex mirror. The under portion does have an additional convex mirror. As we move to the brow, you'll find your brow light. Up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located inside the light bar in the center, you'll find your opticom. Just above that, you'll find a go light, which is your spotlight floodlight at the very top section. Let's take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, starting with the front bumper extension. On the side, you'll find that side-facing emergency warning light. Directly behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism for your hood. As we look into the tubbed storage location, swivel discharge, dry deck material on the floor. On the outer edge of the bumper extension, you'll find shoreline inlet, 20 amp, and your air eject. Both of these are auto eject. General view here of the side of the apparatus, cab section, and then we'll move into the body section. Move around to the rear of the apparatus, and then we'll take a quick look at the side of the apparatus from the passenger side. Full length. Move to the cab section, and then an image of the body. Let's move around now to the front cab section, specifically to the driver's side. When the door is open, the steps will auto deploy. This is an image here of the steps in the full deployed position. Once the door is closed, the steps will retract. Let's move up to the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock, latch, window control, and door grab handle. As we move to the base of the seat, when plugged into shoreline power, the battery voltage charge system will activate. As we move to about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the gross vehicle weight rating of the vehicle, date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, VIN number, all of the fluids for each capacity device, and fluid capacity type. As we move to the floorboard, you'll find the air horn and mechanical siren foot pedal. About the left knee of the operator is where you'll find the tech module, transmission, ABS diagnostic port, and display port. Also, you'll find switches for the ABS diagnostics and engine diagnostics. In the lower section, you'll find regen inhibit and DPF regen switches. Just up from this location, same thing, left knee, you'll find the red quarter turn master battery switch. As we move to the left side, you'll find the hazard lights, ignition and start switch. Just inside of that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. Engage and disengage all emergency lights. Headlight switch and panel rocker switch, allowing you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. You'll also find the OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch on the right side. As we move to the gauges, you'll find DEF, transmission, water, and oil pressure. On the right side, you'll find volts, fuel, front and rear air, and in the center, you'll find the tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer, in addition with information displayed in a digital readout directly below the tachometer and speedometer. Let's move just to the right of the operator where you'll find the yellow diamond. It is the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Just to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. The screen is touchable, and also there are action buttons below. As we move to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad with an information note to pump and neutral. We also have some switches, which we'll go over those in just a few moments. Also the Go Light control module and also mirror control. Let's go back now to the command zone. Tremendous amount of information, touchscreen once again, and then also action buttons just below. See the owner's manual for more information. Pump in neutral is the indication here for your Allison transmission pad, push button, digital readout. Let's move just to the right of this location. We've got some switch panels, starting with the engine brake on and off switch, setting switch for low, medium, and high. You have a drug cooler indicator and also switch. Stationary OK to pump and roll, water pump, and foam system pump. Moving just to the right of this location, a caution information label indicating disengage the retarder when on wet or slippery surfaces. Also, as we move out, the control module for the Go Light. On the top section, mirror control, left and right mirrors. As we move forward to this location, you'll find climate control for heat, defrost, and air conditioning. Moving now to the front section, you'll find your speaker for your unit radio. As we move overhead of the operator, let's look to this yellow placard on the far left indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 3 inches, length of the vehicle, 33 feet 2 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating, 49,800 pounds. If you make any adjustments to your vehicle that may change or affect this, please update this placard. Let's move just to the right where we'll find a few switching panels, first starting with your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning. In the lower section, you'll find lower rear warning, upper rear warning, the load manager, and the Opticom. Moving further to the right, an additional set of switches for the front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, rear scene, a red siren brake. This is for your mechanical siren, electronic siren, air horn, or momentary Opticom. Let's move further to the right where you'll find the control module for your electronic siren and PA speaker system. Moving to the right, also your traffic advisor. Let's go ahead and look to the center where you'll find your collision avoidance system, and then also a do not move your apparatus when the light is on. That's indicating you have a compartment open or ajar. Let's move to the exterior now, where you'll start with in the center an axle sight gauge, Alcoa wheel, and Goodyear tire. As we move to the rest of the cab now, let's go inside the rear section. But before we go inside, let's start with the door panel, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information. Also, you'll find door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. As we move inside, D-handle gains you access into the inside compartment. As we look inside, we're going to have LED lighting and also adjustable shelving. Let's go ahead and look to the rear section of the engine console where you'll find two 12-volt access points. These are USB. And also in the center, lift and turn latch gains you access to the rear section for your daily checks for oil and transmission. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear cab wall where you'll find two forward-facing seats. And now let's move to the exterior of the cab area. At the very top section here, you'll find long-handled tool storage, additional tool storage located to the right, and then also a dead lay in the uppermost left corner. As we move down to the next section, you'll find two discharges. They are color-coded and labeled. In between the two discharges, you'll find the release mechanism to release the speed load. Moving further to the right, I would like to point out a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move down to the notch section or pump panel in the lower area, you'll find two 2.5-inch discharge locally controlled ball valve. You'll also find your strainer. Moving further down, you'll find a warning placard indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. In the center, you'll find the Pierce American flag eagle logo. This happens to be an electronic valve, so therefore we have an override in the uppermost right corner. As we move down, we have a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, female, locally controlled at the ball valve. Also, warning placard indicating when climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. And down in the lower section, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's take a look at some close-ups of those items we just talked about. First, I wanted to highlight the warning placard, beginning that this is a pressure hazard warning. Also, fall hazard indicating always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. As we move down to the very bottom, these are your color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move to the step area, you'll find that there is the ability to expand the step by simply folding it outward. Let's go ahead and start with the pump panel. We'll start at the very top section with this light. If your pump has been properly engaged, you'll get this indicator light indicating OK to pump. As we move down to the left, minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll talk about that plaque in just a few moments. And then also as we move to the right, you'll find the foam level tank indicator. Moving to the gray module is where your master intake gauge is located. And then just to the right of that, you'll find the master discharge gauge. These are your two primary gauges. As we move further down, you'll find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged, and these are for testing purposes. As we move to the right, you'll find the PCM fault LED indicator, and then also an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate, allowing you to brighten or dampen the sound of that audible alarm. Let's move down on the pump panel where you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. You'll also find that they are identified with a red indicator indicating foam capable. To the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor. Incorporated with inside that device is your water tank level indicator. Let's move down into the next section where you have 3 electronic valves. These are going to be for your inlets for driver, passenger, and rear inlet. Also, just a reminder, warning, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. To the right, you'll find the reel blowout, and as we move further down, tank fill, recirculating line, and tank to pump. Just to the right, you're going to find the Husky 12 foam system module. This is your control module for that system. To the right, the fire pump primer, which is a push-to-prime air prime, also requiring at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices while priming. To the right, you'll find the reel discharge at the rear, and then also the deluge discharge. Moving further down, this is an electric valve, and we saw the override. This is for your large diameter discharge on the passenger side. There is also an override on that side for that valve. On the vertical sidewall, you'll find driver side and passenger side scene lights. Let's move back to the pump panel area where you'll find foam system instructions for your Husky 12. We're also going to find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains and also primers and flushes. To the right, we do have a warning placard indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. The very bottom, color-coded discharge drains. Let's go back to that pan door where you'll find inside the foam lever. Horizontal is operation, vertical is going to be for filling. Moving to the protected switch, this is your manual pump shift override. It's a protected switch with an indicator light. Minimum operation maintenance schedule placard for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left, associated GPM at test pressure, and on the right, the associated RPM at test pressure. Also, 5-digit job number located at the very top section. Let's move back down to the vertical wall. We have a caution here regarding electrical power and signal distribution equipment. As we move to the inside wall of the pump panel, you'll find when plugged into shoreline power, this is your battery charger will become active. As we move to the lower portion of the compartment, you'll find a release mechanism on the right for the tray. And as we move to the compartment over the wheel, you'll find adjustable shelf and then also SCBA bottle storage for 2 bottles and an oxygen bottle. As we move to the rear, you'll find Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels. Let's go back up to the rear of the axle area where you're going to find an SCBA bottle storage location for 1 bottle, a gauge for your Dept tank, blue cap, 4.5 US gallons. Just beneath that, you'll find the fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. As we move to the rear compartment, we have in the upper section a tool board. D-handle gains you access to the back side, and there is a release mechanism on the back hinge side. As we move down to the very bottom of the floor area, you'll find a pull-out tray, release mechanism located on the far right. General view here of the entire vehicle, all compartments open on the driver's side. Let's move around now to the rear of the apparatus. You can see the ladder is deployed on the right-hand side. All compartments are open. Let's go ahead and start with the 10-foot folding ladder and also long-handled tool storage. As we move to your ladder storage, 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof. Rear scene lights, this is a cup switch. As we move further down and off to the other side, you'll find the rear inlet, once again controlled electronically, and we also have a pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure, be cautious when opening them. As we move up to the very top section, you'll find all of our hose dividers. They are adjustable. And then as we move to the lower section, a couple of warning placards I'd like to go over. First, fall, never ride on the vehicle while it is in motion. Also, entanglement, because of those lines coming from the loft, there's the possibility of entanglement. Recessed here is your traffic advisor, and then just beneath that, recessed is your backup camera. Let's go down now to the roll-up compartment door. This is going to be the compartment that houses your booster line. We do have a free tension spool knob, also a manual rewind location, and then also the push button for the electric rewind. This does allow you to have your retaining hose pulled outward. The 2 yellow handles extend the captive device, allowing you to roll that hose with the captive device moved outward away from the body. As we move to the upper section, we have additional storage. Moving to the right, 2 locations for long-handled tool storage. As we move to the roof of the cab, I would like to point out we have some warning placards indicated here. This is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these warning placards. Let's move to the dunnage area, identify a few items here. First, top mount exhaust. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find the hydraulic reservoir for your Husky 12. There is a sight gauge located here, and then also a drain valve on-off, and also your master stream device in the center area. Once again, warning placard, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. As we move to the right, once again, close-up of the hydraulic oil reservoir, Husky 12. As we move to the compartments to the rear, dunnages are open, and also hose bed cover is open. We do have a lift and turn latch to gain access to the top section of the pump area. As we look also in the dunnage, you'll find top fill water location, top fill foam. Would like to point out this: do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. There are 2 rear 2.5 discharges located in the hose bed. You'll also find when the hose bed is closed, we do have additional yellow diamonds indicating the edge of the walking surface. On each side of the truck, you're going to find additional hatch compartments. There are 2 on the left-hand side of the truck and 2 on the right-hand side of the truck. Each of these compartments have dry deck material in the bottom, and then also they house LED lighting. Let's go ahead and move now to the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll start in the very rear compartment. Upper shelf is a pull-out and tilt-down adjustable shelf underneath that. Here it is in the deployed position. Release mechanisms located on the right and left side. As we move down, we do have a temperature-controlled lock box located here for your meds. This is to keep your medications cool. There is a combination on the exterior. As we move forward to that location, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location for your air packs in the upper portion. Pull out and tilt downward. As we move further down, you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage and also a fill location here. Silver cap is the ultra low sulfur diesel. Let's move downward from this location just in front of the rear axle, where you'll find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move forward to that location, you'll also find SCBA bottle storage location. Moving to the next forward compartment, we have all pull-out and tilt downward upper shelves, and then the lower trays also pull outward. Release mechanism on the trays, lower right. As we move forward now into the cab and pump area, same configuration and layout that you've seen on the previous side. Backboard storage, dead load, and then also long-handled tool storage, entanglement hazard, the two lower section 1.5-inch discharge and release mechanism. As we move now to the notch area pump panel, you'll find a warning placard regarding fall. Always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. As we move on to the pump panel, you'll find a garden hose outlet. That's the control mechanism. Also the strainer located in the upper portion. At the very top, because remember this is an electric valve for the inlet, this is the override for it. And then just down from that, you're going to find the large diameter pump inlet. It's the Pierce American Flag Eagle. As we move from this location just to the right, once again, pressure hazard indicating caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move down to the very bottom, you'll find your foam outlet. And then moving further to the right, your large diameter discharge. It also has an override because it is an electrically controlled valve. At the very bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Got a few close-ups of those items that we just talked about. Garden hose outlet, and then also water strainer. Moving to the right, once again, the placard regarding pressure hazard. Then as we move downward from this location, close up here of the foam drain and also access behind the pump panel. Large diameter passenger side discharge and override. The step does fold outward to gain the space to a larger area for safety. As we move down to the cab section, let's go ahead and go inside the exterior portion here. Once again, when the door opens, the step will auto deploy. We have all of our safety and warning placards on the door panel, door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. As we move inside on this side, we have an additional rear facing seat. Overhead, push on and off white or red lens lights, and also your air conditioning unit. Two forward facing seats in the center area, and off to each side of those seats you're going to find a flashlight. Let's go ahead and move now exterior to the front axle area of the truck, where you'll find that sight gauge, Alcoa wheel, and Goodyear tires. Let's go ahead and move now inside the area of the officer space. Once again, door opens, steps will deploy. Affixed to that door panel, safety and warning placard information. As we move in the seated position directly in front of the officer, this is our main electrical panel located here. This vehicle also is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag. Please be advised not to mount anything within this area. As we look to the dash itself, general view, let's look just to the left of the officer seat. We'll start first at the front section, USB power, 12 volt, and then also Go Light control on off and a joystick. As we move to the right, you'll find the vehicle data recording port. And then also we have a few push buttons here, mechanical siren brake, mechanical siren, and air horn. Let's go ahead and look overhead in the officer position. We'll start with some of the items in the top section. First, let's start to the right with your AM/FM weather band, CD, Bluetooth, Sirius XM radio, and then to the left, your unit radio. We also have an additional storage location here, or future mount location. As we move just to the left of this location, you'll find digital pump pressure readout, water tank level indicator, and foam tank A indicator. As we move directly behind the seat, this is your main radio installation and also 12 volt access via bus bar. Full compartments open now on the passenger side. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is the cab tilted, and then let's look into the hood space starting on the passenger side. As we move to the passenger side, you'll find this is the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. We'll go ahead and move now to the driver's side, where you'll find the fill location for your coolant, also with some instructions here to raise and lower the cab step by step. Just make sure that all items are secure inside the cab. As we move, we'll find the selector switch, and then also the yellow and black button is the activation for the hydraulic motor. To the right, you'll find your power steering fluid, ATF. There is a visual sight gauge. The next set of images are going to be that of the chassis from underneath. Moving around now to the driver's side, this is the location of the safety arm. When the cab is fully upright, this device should be placed in, preventing any type of mechanical failure of the cab. Do not at any point release the cab and load this device. This is purely a safety mechanism. This is a view of your TAC 4 independent front suspension. As we move down, you'll find jumper studs, both positive and negative. As we move to the lower section, you'll find the reservoir for your hydraulic system. Take note that when the hydraulic system is in the upright position, fluid is evacuated from the holding device. Congratulations, Queen Creek Fire Department, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36816. If you have any questions about your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.